it's you!
I forgot to introduce myself in our last encounter. You can call me Dark Otaku. I hope you enjoyed that Super Milk-chan anime that I snuck into your DVD collection during our last encounter.
Oh yeah, and I gotta thank you for turning me into a dumb mute suffering from PTSD after watching that anime, you no-good son of a...
By the way, I have a little challenge for you. While you were gone in training, I decided to do some research on your past, and I found something that might be interesting, and I challenge you to review it. It should be arriving at your house in, about 5 seconds from now. Enjoy!
Okay, Dark Otaku, I accept your challenge. So, what have we got here to review today? An obviously bootleg copy of Samurai Pizza. Oh my god! No!
Okay, let me make one thing perfectly clear here. When I was a kid, I freaking hated Samurai Pizza Cats. Whenever all the other kids sat around the TV to watch it, I would usually hide inside the babysitter's closet until the show was over.
And that was probably due to the fact that it would constantly make fun of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which at the time was my all-time favorite cartoon on television.
Samurai Pizza Cats, also known as Kyoto Ninden Teande, was an anime TV show created by Tatsunoko Productions and the Sotsu Agency. You know, the guys behind such shows as School Rumble, Silent Mobius, and Those Who Hunt Elves, and work as a vigilante crime fighter squad at night, who protect the city of Little Tokyo from a giant robotic rat named the Big Cheese.
He's a fox, by the way, but let's not get into technical issues just yet. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the first episode of Samurai Pizza Cats.
So we begin with a narration about the show's setting. Little Tokyo? Dude, I go to Little Tokyo at least twice a year, and I have never once seen a bunch of anthropomorphic animals walking around. And since when has there been a giant Japanese castle built within the district?
Jeez, the amount of fees that they have to pay to the city of Los Angeles must cost a fortune.
So we cut to a pizza parlor run by the Samurai Pizza Cats. And yet another discrepancy. When you think of Little Tokyo, you think of, let's see here, ramen, sushi, yakitori, curry, of which I can't eat because it gives me diarrhea, udon, tofu, and a Chuck E. Cheese just off of Onizuka Street. Yeah, do you see the problem I have with this? Pizza is not Japanese, so therefore, why would you expect a pizza parlor in Little Tokyo, a primarily Japanese-American business district located in the heart of downtown Los Angeles? It makes no sense!
But enough of my ranting, let's get this over with.
So they get an order from some chick named Lucille, and a hormone-laced chase ensues among the male characters to see who gets there first. of which quickly devolves into a fight over a female sheep.
Even though these two are cats, I still smell a cockfight.
Why should I love your foot? Hey!
You know what they say, Guido? Two's company and three's a crowd!
Please, judging by the fact that you two are cats and she is a ram, I really don't think that she's your type unless interspecies breeding is even possible in this world.
But the sky begins to darken as a giant robotic dragon looms overhead and begins to terrorize the local populace.
Lord Zed, I think you're in the wrong series. Go back to Power Rangers where you belong. And between you and me, Serpentera looks absolutely ridiculous in animated form.
An entire city block is flattened in the blink of an eye, including a retirement home for aging Ninja Turtles.
Whoever wrote and read that line, if I find out who you are, I'm sneaking into your houses and I'm gonna slit your fucking throats, you no good sons of bitches. How dare you make fun of the Ninja Turtles!
What happened to my pizza?
Lady, screw your pizza! The city is being attacked by a gigantic robot dragon, and all you're concerned about is your stupid pizza?
At Little Tokyo City Hall, the representatives of the business community meet in an emergency session to discuss the recent rash of deadly dragon attacks.
And you. Yeah, you, the narrator. This isn't Rocky and Bullwinkle, and quite frankly, you're starting to get on my nerves.
So it turns out that the big cheese, seriously, he's a freaking fox, was apparently behind the whole scheme in order to conquer all of Little Tokyo and then the world!
Of course!
Does that clip always have to show up every time I mention somebody plotting to take over the world?
Of course!
Okay, whatever.
So the next day, the giant dragon appears to terrorize the city again, and the samurai pizza cats are called in to stop it. So several minutes and several snarky yet unfunny comments later, the dragon is destroyed and all is right with the world. One of the problems with this show is that for a 54-episode TV show, the characters are very generic, so it may be difficult to describe them in more than a couple of sentences, but I will try. First, we've got Speedy Cervece, the leader of the Samurai Pizza Cats. As his name implies, he is very fast on his feet. He is a confident leader and has a sharp and sarcastic sense of humor, but nonetheless is very committed to his duties. Then we've got Guido Anchovy. Guido is more the suave, laid-back type who is your typical smooth-talking ladies' man. He is also very sarcastic and is a bit of a show-off. He can be identified by his blue Mega Man armor that he apparently stole. Finally, there is Polyester, the only female member of the team. Yeah, we get it, as in the fabric polyester. Ha ha. She mostly bosses the other members of her team around and has a fiery disposition when she is angered. As one would expect, most of her weapons are themed around love, as she plays a flute when going into battle, and her throwing weapons are heart-shaped. She can also charm her foes to make them move into the range of her razor-sharp claws. She also shares a love-hate relationship with Speedy and hates to admit it in public.
Boy, do I smell a tsundere.
When Kyoto Ninden Ande was brought over to the United States by none other than Saban Entertainment, the guys behind such classics like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Digimon, the localization team behind the show ran into a dilemma. According to an interview I had with Tony Oliver, who worked at Saban at the time, the original transcripts for the show were either damaged or lost, so they weren't able to get a hold of it in order to translate it into English.
So the natural thing to do is to ad-lib the entire damn thing. And ad-lib it they did. Wow, talk about one very expensive fan dub.
And now you know exactly why I really hated this show when I was a kid. It's freaking corny. Granted, this show was intended to be a slapstick comedy show, but when you compare this to the original Japanese version, the Americanized version is just needlessly over the top and stupid. And on top of that, the show frequently adds and changes the material from its original Japanese version. For instance, adding dialogue that isn't there, adding various references to American pop culture in the dialogue, inserting random jokes as filler, scene swapping, and even the removal of entire scenes or even episodes.
Saban, I'd hate to break it to you, but when it comes to this particular show, you are just as bad as 4Kids Entertainment.
To be fair, the jokes used in this show can be funny on occasion, but they also can be stupid and unnecessary. So the story is basically your typical Monster of the Week fare a la Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Sailor Moon, where the cats are called in to fight one of the Big Cheese's mechanical creations every episode. And there really isn't much to it, since much of the show consists of standalone episodes, with some stories going into the occasional two-parter. The show has a silly and fun atmosphere, but other times it can also get quite tedious as well. Especially when all that is coming out of the characters' mouths is one dumb joke after another, not to mention some of the characters' names.
Seriously, polyester geriatric? I'm half expecting Seymour Butts and huge ass to show up.
My crotch! My crotch! Hey, has anybody seen my crotch lately?
So yeah, I will give story a 3 out of 5. The soundtrack has yet another problem since all the music in this show has been replaced. I mean seriously, for example, I prefer the original Japanese opening over the stupid American one.
Oh yeah! Who do you call when you want some pepperoni?
Samurai pizza cats.
Right on! They're stamping out crime, and you know that ain't baloney. They're Speedy Cerviche, he's the leader of the bunch.
That's right.
A heck of a fighter, makes a heck of a lunch. And little Polyester, who's never afraid
That's me.
of going into battle when the bad guys invade.
Make it stop! Oh, make it stop!
Second, even though the voice acting can be funny, it can also be loud and obnoxious. For example, there is rarely any moment that the characters aren't constantly talking or even shouting, and it never takes a break. So I will give soundtrack a 2 out of 5. For an anime from the very early 1990s, the animation is not bad. It's bright and colorful and has some great comedic timing. But there is one problem, though. The anime tends to recycle animation from certain scenes. Specifically, scenes where the pizza cats are taking off from their restaurant, their pre-battle poses, Speedy's sword attack, their post-battle poses, and a mother and her son commenting on the pizza cats every time they launch into battle.
Of course, this is kind of a pet peeve, but why these cats are wearing Mega Man helmets is beyond me.
Thus, I will give animation a 3 out of 5. Although the characters are fun to watch at times, they are also quite shallow and consist of very typical stereotypes. Each have their own strengths and weaknesses, but for me, the character that really annoyed the hell out of me was the stupid narrator. Good God, is this guy annoying. All this guy ever does is just point out the obvious. Yeah, we can see what is going on through the character interactions and their dialogue. You don't need to tell us about every single damn thing that is going on in this show. He can be occasionally funny, but more than often he is useless. There is no need for the narrator. And yeah, normally I would give characters a 3 out of 5, but just because of the stupid narrator, I'm giving characters 2 stars instead. Samurai Pizza Cats is in and of itself a self-parody. I didn't find it to be as bad as I thought it was when I was a kid, but I am still indifferent about it. If you enjoy your typical screwball or slapstick comedy, you may enjoy this, but since I am pretty sure Saban no longer owns the rights to it, that unfortunately means the only way you are going to be able to see it is to download it. Unless Saban decides to relicense and re-release it sometime soon. But as for Samurai Pizza Cats, I will give it 2 stars for interest and an overall rating of 4 out of 10.
It's nice to be doing a review of some more classic anime, and I feel I should be doing that a lot more often. So, welcome to the first installment of my newest segment of this show, Anime Treasures. This is the American Anime Otaku signing out.
Well, it certainly has been a while, hasn't it?
You.
Still as feisty as ever, aren't you? So, how did you like Samurai Pizza Cats?
Honestly, I didn't find it to be that bad.
You what?
Oh, don't get me wrong, it was bad, but I didn't exactly see it the way I did when I was a kid.
So you really think you've won, huh? Well, we'll see about that. Get a load of this!
Oh god.
Yes, you remember now, don't you? Let it sink in. This is the anime that gave birth to my creation.